We're here in New York at Pier 59 Studios with two of Mindvalley's greatest authors, Jon and Missy Butcher. Let me tell you what we're going to be discussing in this masterclass. So the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche has a really interesting concept called amor fati. It means love of faith. Amor fati is a Latin word. I was once trying to figure out what tattoo I should put on my body, and I felt the words amor fati was so significant. That's the only word I would etch on my body in permanent ink. Amor fati means to live life so well that you would relive your life over and over and over again in an endless loop without getting bored, because your life was so magnificent, so beautiful, so grand that you would care to relive it. Not many people can say that about their lives. You see, most people live lives in a form of passive mediocrity. They don't live their own masterpiece of a life. They seek to escape their own life. They are people who are living lives as if their lives were issued from a photocopy machine. They took in what the culturescape told them to do. The right job, the right style of love, the right way of dressing, the right way of living life, the right education. And like a photocopy machine, they live a life that is really a copy of what everyone else thinks should function in the world. Then there are artists like Jon and Missy Butcher who created a life that is a masterpiece. They took their own paintbrush, their own colors. They created a life that is so original, such a beautiful masterpiece, that their life represents a form of amor fati, a life so magnificent that they would relive it over and over again. The subject of this masterclass is how to escape the photocopied life and create your life in the form of a masterpiece. And it doesn't matter how old you are never too old to begin. Follow me in and let's get started with this masterclass. Welcome to our masterclass on designing the best life you could possibly lead. Now, when I think about people who have created lives where the label legendary would apply to, the life that is the masterpiece, the life that represents amor fati, this couple, Jon and Missy Butcher, take the lead. You see, there are many people out there who seem to have it all, but when you ask them, how did you get to where you are? They can't break it down to you. This is called unconscious competent. They are really good at what they do, but they are unconscious on how they got there. What makes Jon and Missy Butcher so unique is that they are consciously competent. They've created an incredible life, a life that is so magnificent it almost seems as if their life is blessed with magic. But what makes them incredible teachers is that they are consciously competent of how they created this life. What's most unique about them is that they seem to bend the rules. Jon and Missy Butcher run 7 businesses, including the massive Precious Moments empire. This is a huge business. Yet if you look at them, they are living a life where overwhelm doesn't touch them, where stress dare not tap their shoulder. They are so in tune with their health, with their well-being. They live in paradise and they seem to get younger every year. Could it be that they've stumbled upon a secret that so many of the rest of us have missed? And this is what you're going to learn in this masterclass. We need to do a self-evaluation of your life. I'm going to ask you 6 questions, and I want you to rate your life. No one is going to see this rating except you. So this is an honest self-assessment. The purpose of the self-assessment is to figure out where you are today, so that a few weeks from now, as you start going through Lifebook, you will see just how much your life has changed. Don't overthink this. The first number that comes to mind is often the most accurate one. Now, the first question is on happiness. Are you truly happy with your life right now? Moving on to the second question, which is the best life question. Simply put, do you feel you are living the best life you can live today? The third question is the life balance question. As you are living your life, is your life balanced? Or are you sacrificing health for wealth? Are you sacrificing relationships for your career? Is your life fully balanced? Or are you making sacrifices in an important area of life? The fourth question is about purpose and passion. How passionate are you about what you are doing in life today? And the final question is fulfillment. How fulfilled are you with your life today? Or do you feel and suspect deep down inside that you could be doing more, that you could be living more, that you are destined for greater things? Now, remember, this is simply a measure. No one else is going to see this, but in the following weeks and months, as you start applying some of the ideas that you've learned here, you are going to see the score change. And you're going to learn just how powerful intention and awareness can be in helping you design the ultimate life. We're going to peel back the layers and show you the Lifebook lifestyle design system. If there is one thing you can learn in the world, if there's one thing that as a teen or as a young adult we should teach to every single human being when they reach adulthood, it is Lifebook. Because Lifebook will change the game for your entire life. It is literally the business plan that is missing from every individual's life. Think about it for a moment. When you start a business, you create a business plan. But your life should have such a plan. Lifebook is that detailed, comprehensive vision for the life you want to lead and how you are going to get to that vision. It is certainly the most powerful personal growth program I went through, and I did it 10 years ago, and it has changed my life radically. Today, Mind Valley is bringing Lifebook to tens of thousands of people all across the world because it is something that changes lives at such a deep level. We know we have to get it to millions. Before I call on Jon and Missy, listen to what Mind Valley students across the world have said about Lifebook.
I gotta tell you, when I went through Lifebook, it was the absolute best decision I could have ever made.
There are areas that I've never focused on.
I've never gone through a program that allowed me the space, the opportunity, the content, and the direction to so thoroughly orchestrate and navigate my future.
The clarity that Lifebook has given me is to be able to live all those different areas in balance, which overall helps me to achieve my vision and what I want in life.
There's no way I could have just sat down and done this myself, but to have it all systematized for me, spelled out in videos and workbooks, and ultimately designed into this beautiful, powerful book for my life book. It is life-changing.
I think the biggest outtake for me is the importance of planning your life in general.
It's about deep reflection and really gaining that clarity in each and every single category.
So now, if you're ready to begin, I want you guys to give a big welcome to Jon and Missy Butcher. Jon, Missy, welcome to Mind Valley.
Thank you, Vishen. So good to be here.
And I want to thank you because the work that you created with Lifebook has had such a profound impact on my life.
Oh, man.
If it wasn't for Lifebook, I wouldn't have started AFES, my festival company. I wouldn't have the type of life I have today. I did Lifebook 10 years ago, and it remains to this day one of the best personal growth programs I've ever done.
Thank you so
Back
much.
then, I think it was around $7,500.
Yeah.
And it was only like really high-end entrepreneurs who could afford it.
Right.
And today, it's been adjusted into something that can serve millions of people on scale.
Exactly.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now let's get started with the first question, Jon, Missy. And that question is, why is it that most people do not live such an extraordinary life?
Well, I think that it doesn't even occur to most people that they could have an extraordinary life. The word extraordinary means not ordinary. So when you look around at how everybody else is living, it just never occurs to people that there's something more, there's something bigger. I could be more, I could do more, I could have more. You know, we have a friend, a very, very successful friend, great marriage, really, really big business, super high quality guy. He went through Lifebook, and at the end of this process, he said, you know, Jon and Missy, I've always had a good life. I've always focused on trying to make my life great, but it never occurred to me that I could actually have an extraordinary life that works at a high level in every important area until I went through Lifebook. And they blew their lives to the next level. So I think that's the first thing.
I think it's just not knowing, not having the consciousness that that is a possibility. Because you look around and everybody's kind of doing the same thing. And there are systems in our society that are set up to help you do kind of the ordinary. And if you do that really well, then you have a pretty good life, but you're still living within that ordinary system. What we do at Lifebook is kind of help you break out of that and see
Yeah,
what
status
else.
quo is very, very powerful. Right? To break out of that status quo takes a tremendous amount of energy and vision and foresight and effort.
And consciousness.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think even if people do have a desire to live an amazing life, an extraordinary life, it's not easy to figure out how to do that. A lot of people are so busy with what happened in their lives. They're so busy on the treadmill of life. Most people out there are overwhelmed and exhausted. They literally don't have the time, well actually they do, they don't take the time, to really sit down and think through what their happiness and their fulfillment require. That's another massive hurdle. Just not taking the time to just take a break from all the craziness that they're in.
They're too busy running the hamster
Exactly
wheel to really
right.
ponder how to get off the wheel.
That's ultimately what it is. They just don't know that they are kind of inside of a bubble or on that hamster wheel, and the inertia of their life is going, going, going. And in order to take a look at it, you have to kind of stop and get off that.
Exactly.
And that's scary and hard, because what happens with the hamster wheel, if you get off of it, it's...
And also, what am I
So-
going to see when I take a look at my life, when I actually take a pause and look at how things are going? Some people, all of us, I think, are just a little bit nervous to look and see where this sort of, especially if we're on an unconscious path, where we're just sort of reacting. And even the people that are really focused on living the best life they can usually are doing it inside of an outdated model of success, where they're focused mainly on one or two categories of life. Career and financial are the two categories that really suck the life out of most people's lives. And they spend 80–90% of their time in those two categories.
Yeah, and the problem is we don't have a lot of examples of someone living an extraordinary holistic life. Like in our colleges and schools, it's all about, your academics. Once you finish your academics, then you have to go out and earn money. So it's finance and career. That's just a little tiny part of your life. That's it's actually just two categories, career and finance. In Lifebook, we have 12 that we focus on. Your life is a multifaceted existence.
Yep, exactly.
And what I find is really interesting, I was reading this study recently, it is so true that people are like lemmings. They follow what society says they need to do. So America has 5% of the world's population, but America has 70% of the world's lawyers. So many Americans aspire to become lawyers, but when they become a lawyer, studies show that there is a 50% chance of clinical depression.
Wow.
So people are going into a field called law because it is one of the highest salaries for an American graduate, but there's a 50% chance you're going to be clinically depressed.
Wow.
Now, why do people do that? Why do people want to live their life in a field where there's a 1 in 2 chance of depression? It's because that's the only thing they understand.
Exactly.
Right? And so many people live life like that. According to Gallup, for example, 87% of people across the world hate their jobs or disengage from their jobs. How do we get there? Well, as Jon and Missy alluded to, it's because we are trained to look at life from these two dimensions, finance and career, finance and career, finance and career. As you will soon see, Lifebook looks at 12 different dimensions. Finance and career are only 2 out of that 12. Okay, so let's do a quick recap here. First, why is it that many people don't live an extraordinary life? 3 reasons. Reason number 1, they don't know it's possible. Reason number 2, they are too busy running the treadmill of life to get off that treadmill and figure out what life should really mean to them. The third reason is that they have bought into outmoded definitions of success. Success is so much more than your title or the money in your bank account or your career. It is so much more multidimensional. Now, Jon, Missy, why is a life vision so important?
The reason it's so critical to understand the vision of the person you want to become and the life you want to live is because without it, you don't have a decision-making framework to guide your actions. If you have a life vision and you know exactly where you want to take your life, that's your North Star. Every decision you make, every action you take has to line up with that North Star. You have a decision-making framework to say, is this right for me or is this wrong for me? And how do you do that? Is it going to get me closer or farther away from that? And especially in this day and age, Vision, in the 21st century with that little phone that we have in our pocket that has the total sum of human knowledge in our pocket at the speed of light, the best things in the world, Harvard courses for free if you want to go that direction. Or if you want to go a different direction, it can completely ruin your life with addiction. It'll take you anywhere you want to go, but it won't replace you as the driver. You are the one that has to make the decisions how to navigate through that information. And if you don't have a North Star, if you don't have a life vision, you don't have a decision-making framework that allows you to do that.
The first step in finding out what your life vision is discovering who you are. What are your own values and your own beliefs and your own driving forces? If you can figure that out, if you have that and you know what that is, that can help you build your life vision. And then you know where you're going. And then you won't get knocked off course when you go out into society and say, hey, this is me. Because you're going to inevitably run up against people that are like, you're not like me. You should be like me. You're like you? I don't like that. There's always a rub when you show up as your authentic self.
And it's so hard to get to your authentic self in this day and age because everybody out there is trying to control your behavior. The smartest people in the world spend all day, every day, and get paid a tremendous amount of money trying to figure out how to get you to do what they want you to do. And I'm sure that we're all aware of this at a pretty deep level. Missy and I were in one of the highest level masterminds in the world. It cost a fortune to be in this club. We were with some of the best marketers in the world.
We learned a lot.
And we learned a lot, Vision. We learned, one of the most shocking things that we learned is how much these smart people know about you, how in your head they are, the lengths to which they will go to control your behavior and get you to go down the path that they want you to go down. You know, you go into a grocery store, you will encounter 35,000 brands in 30 minutes. And every one of those companies spent millions of dollars trying to figure out how to get you to do the behavior they want you to do.
Right.
So here's a perfect example of that. You grab your phone because you need to send someone a text. You grab your phone and all of a sudden you got sucked into a notification. And you're answering email, you're on YouTube, and in 10, 20 minutes, an hour, you're like, wait a second. I got on my phone to send someone a text, and you're already down a rabbit hole. You are lost. And that's me. I'm a conscious person with a life vision. That happens to me. It's hard. It's really, really difficult right now.
That's fascinating. The smartest people in the world are applying their brains today to get you to buy more crap you don't need.
The smartest people in the world work all day, every day, trying to get you to do what they want you to do. It's just
But when you have a vision for your life, you become more authentic, you become more autonomous, you are living your life, and you are more immune to the programming from the world around you. As Terence McKenna said, you are no longer a half-baked moron spending money to buy all the junk manufactured from the bones of a dying world.
Your life vision is your inoculation to all of that. It's your way to cut through it like a knife through butter. I know where I'm going. So this distraction that just came in, hold it up to my life vision, doesn't fit, sorry. This one right here, this is good. You've got to make the decisions. It's going to get you to your ultimate goal.
Love it. Now, the second big thing you want to understand is why having a life vision is important. Because if you don't have a life vision in today's digital world, you are being manipulated like a puppet on strings to create someone else's vision, to put money in someone else's pocket. You need to know who you are, what you represent, who you choose to be, so that you can rocket towards your vision for your life. So Jon, Missy, what put you guys on this path? Because I know it wasn't always easy for you.
No, it definitely wasn't easy for us. We've had our share of pain and suffering, just like everybody else. If you're a human being, you're going to have pain, you're going to have suffering, you're going to have disappointment, you're going to have frustration. It's part of the program, and we've had a lot of it. But we try our best to not let that be our story. We do not let that define us. We use that as fuel to drive toward that extraordinary life. You know, we've lost 3 brothers to drugs and alcohol. I had a severe anxiety disorder it's an interesting story. So we were partying like rock stars during that time of our life. We had a big meeting in Los Angeles, and we went out there, and the night before we just partied all night, stayed up late. I woke up and my breakfast was 3 aspirin and 3 cups of coffee. And, I went into this boardroom, and basically what happened, Vishen, is I had a panic attack while I was opening this board meeting, and it was horrible. I mean, I'd never had a panic attack before. If you've never had one, it's like you completely lose control of yourself. It feels like there's a freight train running through your head. It's absolutely horrifying. And so it was just this terrible experience. I didn't know what was happening. I had to sit down. It was humiliating. And I remember coming back to the hotel after that experience and saying to Miss, telling her what happened, Miss, this happened. What the hell just happened to me? What is that? And of course, panic disorder runs in our family, so we were familiar with it.
Yeah, we started investigating, how did this happen? Why did this happen? Duh, of course it was because we stayed up all night and we were drinking and acting crazy, and then he got up, not enough sleep.
In a stressful situation.
In a stressful situation. And so then we started, this was a wake-up call, a serious wake-up call. So it's time to really figure out what's going on. So we went to a psychiatrist because we talked to the rest of his family. We knew his brothers were struggling from anxiety. We realized, okay, this is a family issue. Jon went to the same psychiatrist his brother went to. And the first thing the doctor said is, here, I can just prescribe some medication for you.
That was a panic attack. Here's, I can give you tranquilizers. Well, I refused to go down that path because I could already see the devastation that it was having on my younger brother, and it did not look like it was leading to a good place. And what happened was my father actually thought that it would help to buy me a couple personal development programs. I'd never listened to personal development before, but he gave me these 2 programs. One of them was specifically on anxiety, which really helped me. And I listened to these 2 programs and I said, this is the way out, to work on myself, to examine myself. This is an internal issue that I've got to solve here before it can express outward. So that's the path that we decided to take. And eventually my brother died from all that medication and drugs and alcohol.
And another brother died from self-medicating. And then I lost a brother to self-medicating.
We've had our share of pain and suffering like everybody else, but Vishen, that's not our story. That's not what defines our life. What defines our life is what we did when we encountered that pain and suffering. And what that was we decided, we looked around us and we didn't like what we saw. Most people aren't happy. Most people are not successful or balanced or fulfilled. And we didn't want to go down that path. So we decided to create a life that was uniquely ours, according to our own standards and values. One that we design, that we're passionate about, that we want to live. We had what we call a respectful disregard for how anyone else chooses to live their life in any category. We're going to look at what you do, we're going to look at best practices, and we're going to ask and that's cool for you, but when it comes to us, we ask ourselves, does that make sense to us? Does that work for us? Is that something that we want to integrate into this beautiful masterpiece that we're creating together? And if the answer is yes, we welcome it in. If the answer is no, we say no thank you and good luck. And we really mean that. It's a respectful disregard. We've gone there in every category of our lives. For most couples, the spark goes out very, very quickly. Not here, it's not happening. We're going to put systems and processes in place to guarantee our love connection will never go out. Most adults gain a pound a year and end up well overweight. We're not running that program. That doesn't work for us. That's not something that we want to bring into this beautiful masterpiece we're creating together. Most parents abdicate the education of their children to the government. We're not doing that. We're on a different program. We're going to find our own unique way of doing that. And we've done that across every category of our lives.
Yep. And it's simply bringing a higher level of consciousness to what's going on around you, and a mindfulness of how does this affect me? Does this resonate with my own values and my own standards? And that's what happened, and that's how Lifebook was born.
Wow. Life took away 3 brothers between the 2 of you. Mm-hmm. And you guys knew that if you went down that same path, you may not survive. And it's almost as if the universe was like setting you up on a different path. Exactly. So that you could create this life for yourself and then use this life to inspire millions of people through Lifebook.
We feel very, very blessed that is exactly how it went.
That's right.
Very grateful.
Very blessed. And I will say this, because that's a beautiful thing you just said. We look at obstacles and suffering and troubles and problems now from a very different angle. When we look back on all the things that did happen to us, the things that came from those tragedies and those sufferings, because of the way we turned it to serve our own values, it was a blessing, it was a gift. So now we look at challenges as, okay, what is this going to teach us? How are we going to make ourselves even more skillful, even more, turned on, more conscious? Because like Jon said at the beginning, suffering and troubles and challenges are a part of the human condition. That's what makes us stronger.
The reason that we want to make Lifebook available to as many people as possible is because we think that this really could change the world. And that's not just lip service. The only way that the change is going to happen, it seems like the flavor of the moment is force others to be the change you want to see in the world. But it's truly the Gandhi quote, you've got to become the change that you want to see. And Lifebook is a mechanism by which to get there. It's an empty system that you fill up with your own values, and so that you can step into that role of really becoming the change that you want to see. And that's what we need. It's the only, governments will never fix it, corporations will never fix it, institutions will never fix it, groups will never fix it. It's an individual thing.
But I will say this, because we lost 3 brothers and we could not help them, we didn't know what to do at the time, and we tried different things with all 3 of them, and it's come to our attention, or it makes sense that really the only way that you can truly help another person is show them how to help themselves, how to completely turn this thing on inside of them that makes them understand that they really are in control and that they really can do this. And not only that, they're made for it. Each and every one of us is built specifically for our own life, and we are able and we can do it. So just teaching people that it's a possibility. The
only sustainable way to truly help other people is by turning them on so that they can help themselves. The only sustainable way.
Just like everyone has a fingerprint, everyone has a soul print.
So true.
Yeah. That's it.
And Lifebook is helping you get in touch with that reason you were born.
That's right.
That's it.
And society does its best to help you forget that reason.
So true, Vishen.
That's right. And
so
beat
true.
you down. And anytime you're outside the norm, you're gonna get badgered, you're gonna get rotten tomatoes thrown at you, you're gonna have bad words. That's the nature of the game.
Yeah.
That's the nature of what this is. And if more of us get outside that box, then there'll be less inside to throw tomatoes.
That's true.
I mean,
But what Lifebook does is Lifebook helps you develop a sense of your highest self, a very well clarified sense of your highest self. That's, at the end of the program, that's what you get. This clear vision of the person that you could become, and then you can start to move toward that vision with intention every single day. And that's the beauty of this process. That's why it worked so beautiful for us, and why it's worked for so many other thousands of people. If your goal is to create an extraordinary life that works at a high level in every important area, the first thing you have to know is what that looks like, because you will never achieve that unless you know what it is that you're moving toward. So we call that creating your life vision. And how we do it at Lifebook, how Missy and I have done this over the last 30 years, the first thing that we did is we asked ourselves, if we want a truly extraordinary life, what are the areas of life that we really have to master? We really have to learn how to just crush every single day, and then we're going to be living that beautiful life. So we identified 12 areas of life that we focused on over the years. You know most of them, your health and fitness, your financial life, your career, but there's a few unexpected ones in there too. So the way to create a life vision at the level that we do, which is like so detailed and so compelling, something that you're so passionate about that it becomes a North Star that pulls you forward, is to ask yourself deeply, what do I want in each of these areas of my life? Not what society tells me I should want, my parents, my teachers, my preachers, what do I really want deep down inside?
The first step is really to get conscious of who you are. So there's a process of self-discovery.
Right.
And you ask these series of questions to yourself, and you discover who you are and what you believe and what your values are. And over time, you start uncovering your own values and your own beliefs. And that is what your life vision will be based on.
Exactly. It basically is a way for you to get in touch with what your highest self would look like. That's what you do through this process. So now you've got a crystal clear vision of your highest self and your very best life. That's step number one. So the way to create that crystal clear life vision that will just pull you forward into the extraordinary life that you want to create is to take a look at the 12 different areas of your life. That's how many categories we identified over the last 30 years that we really had to master in order to have an extraordinary life. So I think we should just take you through what those categories are. The first 5 of the 12 we call your personal life categories, because these 5 categories are basically, they're you separate from the rest of the world. Nobody has anything to do with these categories except for you. So the first one is your health and fitness. You are in charge of your health and fitness, nobody else. The second one is your intellectual life. It's about thinking, which is basically our primary tool of survival as human beings. The third category is your emotional life. Super powerful one. It's a super good one to get detailed in that category because that controls so much of the quality of your experience on this planet. The fourth category is your character. That's where you really define what kind of a person you want to become, what your life is all about, what the meaning of your life is. And the fifth personal life category is your spiritual life. We've all got some experience with that category, and that's a deep one.
And then we move on to your relationships.
Right.
And the first one is your significant other or your love relationship, very important to happiness and longevity. Parenting, either your own parenting with your own children or your own parents. The third one is your social life. And then it goes on into your business life, which is your financial life and your career.
So the 11th category is your quality of life. And this is where we explore the things that you want in your life, the environments that you're surrounded by, your home, your office, and the experiences that you want in your life. So this is where world travel, this is the fun category. It's like the reward for all the hard work you do. Those 11 categories, defining clearly what you want in each of them, all add up to the 12th category, which is called your life vision. It's where everything comes together. So when you take a look at your life vision category, you can see what you want in every important area of your life. That becomes your North Star, so that all the decisions you make support that beautiful vision that you've created.
And the way that you discover your life vision is by asking yourself a few questions in each one of these categories. And the first one is, what do you really believe? What do you believe in this category? What do you believe is true for yourself? Not for anybody else, not for society, not for Vision, not for Jon and Missy, for you, not for anyone else. And the next one is, what is your highest version or highest vision of your own self in that category? The third one is, if that's what you believe and that's what you want, why? Why do you want that? So you have to answer that question. And then the last one is, if you want all that stuff, you believe all that stuff, what are you going to do in your life today to make that a reality and make that your real life? So we really dig in deep and do a lot of self-discovery, because a lot of people don't even know what they believe or where they're beginning from, and that's a key component to this.
It's an incredible path to self-discovery. So it's pretty simple. The process is simple. It's not easy. There's a difference. It's simple. It doesn't have a lot of moving parts. 12 categories, we ask ourselves the same 4 questions. What do I believe? What do I want? Why do I want it? And what do I need to do to get it? That little system, which takes 6 weeks to do in our online course, deep thinking, you will have profound realizations that will change your life just based on that work, just based on getting clear. It's a transformative process.
And you know, just understanding the idea of these 12 categories is a game changer for so many people. Because how many of us realize that we should be setting goals for our emotional states? The world just doesn't teach you that, or that we need to be setting goals for our love life, or our parenting life, or even our character.
Exactly.
We don't get that. I mean, when I took Lifebook, it fundamentally changed how I felt every morning when I woke up, because I now had lists and goals and visions and a way to get there
Yep.
for the persistent emotional states of bliss and joy and happiness I wanted to experience on a day-to-day basis. I was just never educated that you need to commit to that on paper.
Yeah.
And so that's why Lifebook was so transformative for me. Now, one of the most interesting things, folks, is when you set your visions in these 12 categories, there's a beautiful synchronicity that starts to happen.
exactly right.
I remember I wrote down things that came straight from my soul. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to be on stage. Back then, I wasn't speaking. I wanted to have inspiring friends from across the world. I wanted to be able, I don't even know where this came from, but I wrote, I wanted to toss parties in the Mediterranean and the Caribbean and invite all my friends over. And
Amazing.
when I wrote that down, when I took Lifebook in 2009 in Chicago, over 4 days with you guys, I had no idea how to get there. Within 1 year, magic entered my life.
It's amazing.
Synchronicity started flowing. And I ended up starting a festival called A-Fest. And before I knew it, I was literally tossing parties in Croatia, in the Caribbean. I had world-class speakers coming and sharing the stage with me. I had amazing entrepreneurs from all around the world attending my events. A-Fest became this huge transformational festival. But when I look at what I wrote in my Lifebook, and what I'm showing here is the actual text from my 2009-2010 Lifebook, you can see how all the dots connected.
Yeah.
What I learned, John, is that there is a magic to this process.
Right.
There's something you cannot explain
Well.
that happens. And when I hear you explain this, it always brings to mind this quote from Terence McKenna. I'd like to read this quote for all of you. So yes, it's 12 categories, it's 4 questions in every category, but know that when you take Lifebook, you go really deep. You go through an investigation of these 4 categories over 4 days if you take the seminar, over 6 weeks, a few hours every week if you do it online. And this is what McKenna says, which seems to explain the magic that's happening below the surface. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. So dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all the teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a featherbed.
Wow, that's so well said. Yeah, I want to clap. That's like the best quote.
that was
to
great.
Yeah, Terence McKenna
But
is
you
the
know,
man.
I'll tell you,
Wow.
one of the things that Lifebook does is it flips everything upside down. So we were talking earlier about how some people have success in 1 or 2 areas of life, and often the career goals you set can completely derail your love relationship or derail your health and fitness. So there tends to be a tension. If you don't have a life vision to hold everything up to, there tends to be a tension between these goals. Whereas when you go through Lifebook, we have a saying, a win anywhere is a win everywhere. Every single time that you crush a category, what you realize is, my career will be better if my health and fitness is better. Literally, I have to get my health and fitness up to a certain level in order to have the best career. How's my career going to be better? If I have a hosed up love relationship where I dread seeing my spouse every evening, or if I have an incredible, supportive, passionate love relationship, these categories start to support each other, and this positive spiral begins to happen, and that's one of the things that creates the magic. There is something about this process that you can't explain.
And there are so many stories of people across the world who have taken Lifebook.
Right.
We have students in around 80 different countries where this magic has been demonstrated.
Absolutely.
So we have the 12 categories, you have the 4 questions.
Yeah.
Now, what is pillar number 2?
Pillar 2 is, after you've got your life vision in place, you've got your North Star. You know exactly where you're going. Now what we help you do is we help you put in place a structured rhythm of goal setting and goal accomplishment against that life vision. See, what's wrong with goals vision is that people set them in a vacuum. They set a goal for this area of their life, that area of their life, and often there's tension between those 2 goals. Lifebook goal setting is a different level because every goal you set is going against that North Star. It aligns all of your goals so they're almost flowing like a river in the same direction. Everything you're doing is consistent and coherent and aligned.
That's true. I noticed after doing Lifebook, I knew exactly what I had to do every quarter, every month, every week, all the way down to every day to make this life that I wanted inevitable.
It's 100% right.
Now, what's the third pillar?
The third pillar is very interesting. We take a good look at your habits, your small daily choices and actions. As a matter of fact, it's so important to us that we call these your 12 sacred choices. What are the 12 small daily behaviors that you're going to commit to that are most aligned with that life vision, that are going to turn you into the person that you want to become? And how important is that?
Oh my gosh. So pillar number 3 is where the rubber hits the road.
That's right.
It's where you take daily action. And we all know that the only time action happens is in this continuous present moment that we're in. Well, first, backing up, lighting your goals with your habits is an amazing game changer. But what we're doing here, if you could kind of already see, is we're aligning everything and we're integrating the work that you did in all those 12 categories, and we're now integrating it into your daily life so that you actually are taking small mini steps. Just like Vision said, it's an amazing experience and it's profound, and that's where action really happens.
That's right.
Isn't that?
That's where you start to make real progress toward your life vision.
So what's the fourth pillar?
The fourth pillar is we wrap an accountability system around all that. We track it, we measure it, we make sure that you're making meaningful progress toward your life vision, and we wrap an accountability system around it where you are responsible to your peers for doing what you said you were going to do. Now, there's a lot of research on this. When you say to yourself, I want to achieve this goal, it usually gets you a certain result. When you commit to other people, I am going to achieve this goal, and I'm going to show up Wednesday at 7 o'clock and tell you whether I did or didn't, results go through the roof. So we wrap an accountability system around it. And the thing about this process, if you get crystal clear on your life vision, and then if you align your goal setting, your habit tracking with that life vision and wrap accountability around it, you literally cannot fail to make measurable, meaningful progress toward that life vision every week, every month, and every year.
That's right.
That's amazing. It's amazing. And I've seen that in practice. Every new person I hire into Mind Valley, we send them out to a forest retreat for 4 days to go through the Lifebook system. At the end of the 4 days, they emerge with a 75-page or 100-page blueprint for their entire life. The 12 categories, the 4 questions, and then they have a choice. They can decide that being part of Mind Valley is the way to move forward, or they can go and start their own business or go join another company, and that's fine with us too. But what we found is that it literally opens people up to becoming the best human beings they can be. It gets people out of the matrix, and it thoroughly, completely transforms one's life. It becomes a pivotal point that changes the trajectory of how someone is going to end up and what they are going to experience as life itself on the day, they move on. So when I did Lifebook in Chicago, I remember back then my then wife and I attended. We paid about $7,500 as a couple, and it was transformative. And then Lifebook and Mind Valley got into a partnership, and we decided to drop the price because what we wanted to do was to make this accessible to millions of people. Jon and I are independently well off as entrepreneurs. Our commitment is to change the world. And so we decided to make this super accessible. You'll hear about that in a moment. And then Jon and Missy decided to create Lifebook Online. And this is one of the most beautiful innovations we've produced. You can take Lifebook for 6 weeks online, and it's at several hours a week. And what happens is that you get guided into a thinking process to write down your goals and visions. You're doing it with dozens of other people from across the world. And while it may seem tough to produce the 75 to 100-page book, you actually find that it's a lot easier than you think, and that it comes out of you. I've come to believe, Jon, Missy, that it's already inside us.
Absolutely.
It is our soul waiting to speak.
That's right.
Most of us don't listen. And the exact nuances of Lifebook get this voice which is already inside us to emerge, and often you're really surprised at what emerges.
So true. We guide you through step by step by step. You can do the simple little exercise that's in front of you, and by the end of that process, you will be blown away at what you've created, and the thinking that went into it will change your life forever.
So let's get to the final bit of this class, where you're going to guide us through a visualization exercise, from what I understand, to help give people a taste of their life vision.
Yes, and Vishen, the reason that we wanted to do this is because when we talk about the most compelling vision that you can create for your life, people look at you with a blank stare. So many people are so disconnected from any kind of an idea of their highest self because life happened to them. I mean, at one point they may have had a dream for the person they want to become and the life they want to live, and then they got caught in whatever it was, and now they know that's not going to happen for them. So people are just disconnected from what they really, really want in life. So we wanted to just give a little bit of a taste, just a little tiny taste of what that might look like and feel like. So we're going to lead you through an exercise that's going to allow you to catch a glimpse of your very best future. This is really exciting, so get in a state of positive expectation because magic's about to happen. You know, they say that how you do anything in life is how you do everything. How you live your days is how you live your life. So I'm going to guide you now as you imagine an ideal day in your ideal life with no rules, no limits, no right or wrong, no good or bad. This isn't about what your boss wants, not about what your spouse wants or your kids. It's about what you want, deep down, with no barriers of any kind. A day in your life where you can truly be yourself, where you release everyone else's expectations, where you're filled with joy and gratitude and pure happiness just because you're living your very best life, exactly the way you want it to be. So let all your current responsibilities and obligations just fade away for a moment, and let's connect to your soul's deepest desires. Let's begin. Just relax now. Get really, really comfortable. Take a deep breath in. Hold it, and as you exhale now, let all the tension out of your body. That's right. Just feel how much the music is relaxing you right now. This exercise is blissful and it's easy. Take another deep breath now. Hold it. And as you let it out now, let go of any expectations, any concerns, any worries. You're feeling more and more deeply relaxed now. This is your time. Imagine for a moment that you had no limitations of any kind. No limitations of time, no limitations of money, no limitations at all. Just let your spirit soar. And imagine that you can do, be, and have everything that your heart truly desires. What would that look like for you? As I ask you a few simple questions, just allow your answers to flow out of you without overthinking it. You don't need to answer each of my questions literally. Simply allow the essence of what you're seeing in your mind's eye and what you're feeling in your emotional body to wash over you, and just allow this ideal day in your life to unfold. If you weren't limited by anyone or anything, including yourself, what would your perfect day look like? Where would you be living? If you could truly live anywhere you wanted, where would that be? What kind of a house would you live in? What would your ideal environment look like and feel like to you? Just visualize it now. What time would you wake up in the morning? And how would you feel first thing in the morning when you woke up? Would you wake up next to someone? Who might that be? What does your ideal love relationship look like and feel like? When you look at yourself in the mirror, how does your body look? And how does your body feel? Do you feel healthy and strong? Are you at your ideal weight? What would you like to wear on this ideal day? How do you want to look? How are you going to spend your time this morning? You want to do a little reading, maybe some exercise, some meditation? What do you want to do this morning? What would you have for breakfast this morning? What time would you go to work? And what exactly is your ideal career? Where are you working? Who are you working with? What are your responsibilities? What kind of skills, talents, and abilities have you acquired? And what kind of goals are you accomplishing in your career? How much money are you making? How much money do you have in the bank? Financial abundance feels so good, doesn't it? Just let the feeling of your ideal day wash all over you. Your future feels so good. You're truly an amazing person. You're a remarkable person because things have fallen into place for you, and you just feel so blessed. So good to be alive. So good to just be you. After your productive, fulfilling day at work, what do you do to relax? Do you spend time in nature? Time exercising? How are you going to spend this evening? And who are you going to spend it with? What are you going to have for dinner this evening? And what are you going to talk about over dinner? What does your ideal family look like? Just visualize that for a moment. What is your relationship like with all these wonderful people? What are your ideal friends like? Do you have a strong social circle that supports and encourages you? What are you going to do tonight? And who are you going to do it with? And finally, after a long, fulfilling day, what are your thoughts going to be when your head hits the pillow tonight? Gratitude, thankfulness, just to be you, just to be alive. Now keep your eyes closed and feel this for a moment. You've had the most amazing day. Every single day of your life can feel this good. Every single day can be filled with joy and happiness and peace if you love the person that you're becoming and if you love the life you're living. Just hold this image in your mind for a moment, and it just feels so good to be authentically you and to be living this masterpiece of a life.
Thank you, Jon, Missy. Every time I do that exercise, I find that there's more layers and more visions that I add. But I found that that simple exercise that I've done with you guys several times has always helped pull me forward and move me towards this ideal life. So thank you for that.
Beautiful.
Now, for those of you watching, let's do a quick recap to make sure you got all of this down, because we went deep in part 1 on new models of reality you can adopt to live a life outside the edges. And in part 2, we broke down essentially what the Lifebook process is like. Now, you can try to reverse engineer this and figure it out yourself, or you can also go deeper with this and join our new Lifebook class that's starting soon. But first, let me do a quick recap. So the first pillar of Lifebook is understanding the 12 categories. I'm going to put them up on the screen so you can see them right now. And then in each of these categories, asking yourself these 4 questions. This is what many people forget.
So the 4 questions are, what do I believe about this category? What are the beliefs that are controlling my behavior in this area of my life? Question number 2 is, what precisely, with clarity, do I want in this area of my life? Question number 3 is, why do I want that? What will I gain if I achieve it? What will I lose if I don't? And question number 4 is, what do I need to do to get it?
Now, the second pillar is being able to go from your big life vision all the way down to what you need to do this quarter, this month, or this week. It's going from annual to quarterly to weekly to daily goals. And the third one is habits. It's putting in place the right habits. One of the beautiful things about Lifebook is that it's a community-driven system. You learn the best habits and practices from other people. And the 4th pillar is your accountability system. I found that to be super useful, because so many of us get busy, but when you have an accountability system, it changes the game. To this day, many people in my company have their little Lifebook masterminds with 3 or 4 other people who work at Mind Valley, and they all hold each other accountable. Sometimes they travel to an exotic island together to spend a weekend together, to go deep in adjusting each other's habits and accountability. It's kind of funny. With Lifebook, you also meet like-minded individuals, the rebels, the misfits, the people who are going to do life in their own way. And you all help each other soar. So as you put all of that together, what you have is the Lifebook lifestyle. And this really is a completely new way of experiencing life.
I will say it again, if you do those things, if you get crystal clear on your life vision, align your goals and habits and wrap accountability around it, with a measurement system in that accountability, you cannot possibly fail. You cannot possibly fail in making meaningful, measurable progress toward that life vision, because you're working it, you're working the system, and you see it just manifest in front of your eyes.
That's right. I always say, simply put, it's about bringing more consciousness and more mindfulness just to your everyday life. Lifebook, we go deep and we really push your consciousness gene, and we make sure that you are really thinking deeply about what you really do want in all those 4 questions. But just the fact that you're aware that there are 12 categories, like Vishen was saying earlier, that's a game changer. It broadens your awareness, so therefore it broadens your consciousness. And you can't unknow it. We know that once you learn something, you know it, so you can't unknow that. And that's how it's a growing and a flowering or an awakening that happens once you step on this path and start doing these exercises.
We call that soaring self-empowerment. Every Lifebook member calls it something different, because every Lifebook member at some point in this process experiences the switch that gets flipped that says, my life is mine, I own it. I realize now that I'm the decision maker at the center of my own existence, that I'm the responsible party, that I can actually drive this ship instead of just reacting to life, letting life happen to me, doing what everybody else around me is doing. I can literally direct my life consciously and take it where I want to go. We call it soaring self-empowerment when that hit us, that we really can be in control, that we are in control.
That's a really good point. Because you are in control whether you choose to take control.
To exercise it or not.
Or
you
not.
Are.
Because deciding to not take the reins of your own life, you've made the choice
Still
to
a
let
decision.
someone else. Because someone will step in and take that for you. Your life is going to go the way it's going to go. And if you decide to be the driver of your life, awesome. The Lifebook program will help you do that. If you decide not to decide, you've still made a choice. Even if you're unconscious of that choice, you've still made a choice. Vishen said at the beginning of this masterclass, and Jon, if you don't really decide what you want in life, there are so many people and so many distractions around us everywhere that your life will end up somewhere. So it's best
why
if
not
you
take control of it consciously? That's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to share. That's what we think is going to make the world a better place.
So if you think this is something that you want to do, if you're excited about the possibility of being in the driver's seat and not being driven around any longer by the rules of society, raise your hand wherever you are, because what we're about to share next is going to be mind-blowing to a lot of you. So before we continue, let's go through a quick set of questions to see if you've fully understood all the ideas in this masterclass. The first question, of course, is, do you agree, as Missy said, that you need to take the reins of your own life? The second question is, do you understand why it is important to have a life vision? Now, if you answered yes to both of those questions, let me tell you about some of the advanced techniques that you should know that can truly get you to the next level. We didn't have time to go really deep in all of these techniques, but this is a rough idea of how the methodology works. First, you have to go deep in the 12 categories, and you've gotten a quick overview of these 12 categories. Of course, every category has a lot more depth, has a lot more wisdom, has a lot more nuance. Now, in each category, you are going to question convention, and you're going to question convention in each category by addressing the 4 questions. This is the stuff that our education system completely fails to teach us. So you ready for the questions? I'm going to give you the 4 questions so you have this in the back of your mind. Now, when people take the Lifebook seminar, typically it takes about 90 minutes per category to go really deep and answer the 4 questions. Now, the first question is you examine your core beliefs. So in each of these categories, you understand which of your beliefs came from societal programming that may have come from your mom and dad who loved you but may not have had all the wisdom and knowledge they needed, may have come from generational programming, media, society, culture, politics. Let me give you an idea. I grew up in an Indian family, and in India, mental and spiritual health is very much appreciated. Physical health, not as much. In my family, people age fast, people die of diabetes, of heart disease, and I always believed that aging was inevitable. I believed that I would probably kick the bucket at 75. When Jon made me realize that aging is optional, I completely transformed my body. I reversed my aging. At the age of 40, I had a better body than I had when I was 30, thanks to this new belief that I took on. So what are the beliefs in each of these 12 categories that you may want to investigate? That's the first question. Now, the second thing is you understand your big why. You need fuel to pursue your goals, and that fuel is understanding why the goal matters in the first place. So you go deep in all categories and you understand, why is health important? Why is my intellectual life important? Why is developing a amazing character important? Why are my love relationships important? And when you go deep into the whys, a lot of things change. Third, you recraft your deepest desires in each of these categories. This is another way of saying you're getting crystal clear on your vision. So imagine being able to have 2 pages of crystal clarity in each of these areas. And imagine if these pages were magic, like these were the demands that were going to go to your own personal genie. Imagine you had a genie in a lamp, like in the movie Aladdin. And these were the specifications of the life you want to lead that you're giving to that genie. This is how deep you're going to go. And of course, the 4th step is you develop your strategy. And this is where for each of these categories, Jon will share with you, and again through the Lifebook community, what happens is that you learn the best categories to improve your intellectual life, to elevate your emotional life, to elevate your financial life, to elevate your career. This is tribe intelligence. The group is helping you get smarter and smarter and smarter. So if you're interested in going further, here's a question you need to ask yourself. How much has unclarity cost you? I'm sure you believe that the human mind will draw to you the situations, the encounters, the visions that you seek in life. But how much has not knowing those actually cost you and held you back? I can tell you for myself, it was a lot. And when you create that clarity, magic happens. Now, Jon and Missy, as you can tell, are incredible entrepreneurs. You guys have 7 companies. You never set out a goal to become a personal growth teacher, no. But you stumbled upon something that has changed tens of thousands of lives.
So the most important thing to us in sharing Lifebook is that, this wasn't easy. It took us almost 30 years to figure this out and to put this together. It cost millions of dollars to develop. It took thousands and thousands of hours. We've got a lot into this. And what's important to us is that we share it with people who are committed. So what was really important after putting so much time and effort into this that we could share it is that we shared it with the right people. And what that means is the people that were really committed to using it. Because if you start this program and don't finish it, it's not going to do you any good, it's not going to do us any good, and it's not going to get us any closer to our mission of 1 million people with a Lifebook.
We want people to flip that switch and be turned on, and so that they can then in turn, if they're already self-directed and they're creating their own life and they're in this vortex of living the Lifebook lifestyle, then they can turn to their friend or their brother or their sister and say, hey, would you like some help? Because we all want to help others now. That's the story of today, and that is where we should be. But you can't help someone else unless you have helped yourself first.
That's
the
right.
saying, you can't give away what you don't have? This is really true. You cannot really truly help someone at the level that you are capable unless you do this work first and really self-actualize yourself so that you know where you're going. You have to know where you're going first.
And the beautiful part is you guys have just made money no longer an option.
Right.
And I just want to stress something. Now, I want you to understand one thing about our Mind Valley programs. You don't have to make up your mind right now. You can enroll in this program, test it out, and anytime in the next 15 days, with one click, cancel your purchase and get a full unconditional refund. All you have to do is click on your account page on the Mind Valley platform, click on the refund button, and that's it. You are never obligated to buy a program. You can test it out. You can see the video. You can even go through practically half the program because you can give yourself a refund in 15 days with one click. So you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Now, if you are buying a house or buying a car, you would obviously test drive things, right? I encourage you to do the same here. Scroll down below, click enroll so you can take advantage of the enrollment discount. Explore the program as much as you want in the next 15 days. Cancel and get your refund. You can apply your refund to another Mind Valley program, or you can just keep it. All the information is on mindvalley.com/refund. Now, online it happens over 6 weeks. It's several hours a week. You're going to tune in with hundreds of other Lifebook students who are doing it with you. And this is how Lifebook has become one of the most celebrated personal growth programs. I'll give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, our Lifebook director, Nika, she sent out an email to students and she's like, is there anyone who has a Lifebook story they'd like to share? In 7 days, we received 1,100 Lifebook stories with photographs. 1,100 in 7 days. That's astonishing. I'm going to flash some of them on the screen right now so you know this stuff is real. And today, as Jon and Missy are in New York, I know we have 80 Lifebook graduates flying across the country to come to New York just to come and join you guys at this bar that you selected tonight for a little Lifebook
We're
mingling.
excited.
Because Lifebook people are such incredible people.
Yeah.
They're the people who are choosing not to live life on the treadmill and to do life their way. We just met a couple of students here as we were filming. And I love meeting Lifebookers.
Me too.
And I know you do as well.
We sure do. They're the kind of people we want to hang out with.
What does the program look like? What do these 6 weeks look like? Well, this is where you do have to make a commitment of time. And we're going to come to that in a moment. But I want to give you the path that's ahead of you. You can choose to take everything you've learned thus far and end it here and go back to living the life you currently live. And maybe that's an incredible life. And maybe you can figure this all out on your own. Jon and Missy spent 30 years and millions of dollars producing Lifebook. The very first Lifebook, which was filmed, I believe, Jon, 2001, 2002? It was one of the world's first high-definition film productions. I think only BBC's Planet Earth had longer HD footage. Because Jon is an artist, as is Missy, and they're committed to the highest quality production. So you can try to figure this all out yourself, or you can work on a process that has already been designed for you, that I've gone through, and that many of the most incredible individuals in the world have gone through and endorsed. Almost every Mind Valley teacher, from Lisa Nichols to Marissa up here, Dr. Mark Hyman has done Lifebook. I was talking to Lisa Nichols recently, and she was moving homes, and she said that she was driving from her old home to a new home in her car with a U-Haul trailer behind her with all her possessions. there was one thing on the passenger seat next to her, her life book,
Yeah.
because that was the thing that she knew was the most valuable item she was going to place in her home.
Beautiful.
And this is what you are getting as well. So imagine all the greatest teachers. I think you guys have celebrities, you have NFL football stars, all of whom who have done Lifebook. They do it even though their lives are already incredible, because Lifebook has a multiplier effect. No matter
Absolutely.
how great your life is, it's going to get better. But you can choose to figure this out yourself, or you can take the plunge. You can, as Terence McKenna said, take that jump into this abyss and find that you're about to land on a featherbed and activate some serious magic. So, Jon, Missy, tell us what happens in this 6 weeks.
So Lifebook Online is a 6-week program, and you go through 2 categories every week. And we have live coaching calls with Jon and I on Zoom, so you get to see us and do live Q&A. It's a lot of fun for us.
Yep.
And
You
what
get
else?
beautiful templates so that you can, these are your chapters, so you get to type in these templates. You watch a video that's about an hour, just maybe a little longer than an hour, which asks you those 4 questions, gives you inspiration, encouragement, and support as you're thinking through what you got to think through, and you're typing in your templates. So you basically create 2 chapters a week, and that goes on for 6 weeks.
So already in the first week, you end up creating this beautiful vision plan with
right.
your beliefs
Yep.
and your strategies for 2 categories of your life.
That's right.
Immediately in week 1, you see great results.
Week 1 is health and fitness and your intellectual life, and they are barn burner
Right.
categories, absolutely fast. So you get out of the blocks fast. This thing starts fast and gets exciting.
That's amazing. And then also to add, you're doing this as a community. So
Exactly.
all the students are connected in an online community, and it's such a robust, loving, supportive group. It's incredible to see. All the content is delivered on Mindvalley's platform, which is the leading learning platform out there. So you know that you're going to have incredible access to really high-end quality production videos. We really held nothing back when
Right.
we produced this program. And it's available on your desktop and your smartphone.
I just want to say one word about the community, because this is such an incredibly important part of the Lifebook experience. As you're going through these categories, you're going to hit bumps. You're going to hit some painful realizations, and the community is there. We share our challenges. We share our wisdom. We help each other through this. It's amazing how much wisdom is in each one of these groups that go through the program.
Absolutely. I think that that's one of my favorite parts of doing the live calls also. Almost on every single call, Jon and I learn something new from the community. Someone has a suggestion or advice or even just a strategy that they're using recently. And it's really profound. You can really see the power of this community, of all these turned on people that are self-directed and really going, and it's beautiful. The diversity is unimaginable.
It is. One of our little sayings is, no one is smarter than everyone. And we have everyone on these calls, and we have everyone communicating as we work through these 12 categories. It's a real joy.
So I know a lot of you can't wait to get started. What I'd love to do right now is to maybe ask some common questions that prospective students have as they enroll.
Okay, sure.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
So the first question is, what if I don't have enough time for this? How much time does it actually take per week?
It takes, if you're going to do it right, I would say it takes about 3 hours.
Me too.
Yeah.
3 to 4, I would say.
3 to 4 hours.
The videos themselves are just a little bit over an hour, and then you want to go back in after you've done your initial work and really clean up that chapter. One of the beautiful things about Lifebook is every Lifebook is different because every person's different. This is an empty system that you fill up with your own content, right? So an artist is going to make their Lifebook more artistic and more visual and more beautiful, whereas someone who's more left-brained is going to look a little bit different. So it really varies person to person, but I'd say 3 to 4 hours a week.
Yeah, and it really depends on how much contemplation time you give
Right.
yourself, and that is the key. Contemplating these questions, deeply contemplating these questions, is where you will find the deepest answers.
That's correct.
Inside. So I would take as much time as you can.
So
for
it's
that.
2 classes a week, and how long
Yes.
is each class? Roughly?
About 2 hours.
About 2 hours.
And so,
okay.
like Missy said, the more you put into it, the more you're going to get
Yes.
out of
Right.
it. So you really want to give it as much as you can. This is you doing work on
Right.
you.
So you have to tune in twice a week for between 90 minutes to 2 hours
Yeah,
for each session.
that's right.
That's like watching 2 movies a
Yeah.
week. That's nothing
Yes.
much. Now, for those of you who think you don't have enough time, bullshit. The average person alive who uses social media today, and I know that's a lot of you watching, spends 2 hours a day on social media.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
don't tell me you don't have enough time.
That's
Now, if you really don't have enough time, because I understand maybe you just had a baby born or something, maybe you're remodeling your house, take time away from your work. Trust me on this. 3 to 4 hours a week is roughly half an hour a day. Take time away from your work. Ask your boss if you can show up half an hour late for work every day. What you will find is that this will actually help you increase your productivity, because all forms of distraction will disappear. You will find that within your job, within your career, you will soar, you will elevate, because you are no longer operating from the old rules. Every single person who joins my company, and we have around 300 employees, we at all costs send them 4 days into a mountain retreat to do Lifebook. They're doing the seminar version, but we're taking them away from work for 4 days, because when they come back into the company, they are fully transformed.
Yep.
You're going to experience the same thing. 3 to 4 hours a week is nothing relative to the benefits you are about to experience. So find whatever else from your life you need to sacrifice for these 6 weeks. Look, even if it's your gym, sacrifice that for 6 weeks, because what you will find is that Lifebook will teach you how to get a healthier body for life. And what you will find is that many of the stuff that you're doing in the gym is actually useless. It is just unbelievable how much light and wisdom and clarity you will get from this process. Don't make the mistake of being one of those people who decide to stay locked in a mediocre, boring life because they think they're too busy to invest in themselves. Don't do that. I'm really going to be mad at you because I've seen what this does to people. So time should never be a question. The next question, guys, is how do I know if this is for me? Who is this program actually for?
I think it's for anyone that is really wanting to take control of their life. I mean, we have people in our program right now that are in their 80s. And we've had
And down to
teenagers.
teenagers, yeah.
So, and everyone in between. So it's for anyone that really is interested in taking control of their life, or just feeling like their life is theirs and not belonging to someone else, and want to be self-directed.
Exactly. Or even somebody who's interested in just discovering who they are at a deeper level, expanding their consciousness. Lifebook is a super great course to take anytime you're in a transition.
Yes.
You're graduating, you're getting married, you're getting divorced, anytime you're retiring, moving from one area of your life to the next, where you really should be thinking down, what's this next chapter of my life going to be about?
Yeah.
You know, what do I want to create in this next phase of my life? It's a really good...
Especially when you're in one of those transitions, everything's already torn up anyway, or
Right.
things are new and you're getting ready to put some new foundations in. That is a really good time to
for
really
some deep thinking.
deep contemplation.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And the final question is, how is this different from, say, goal-setting programs?
Here are the main things that make Lifebook different. The first thing is the comprehensive nature of the program. Most programs look at one or two areas of your life. Lifebook looks at every important area of your life. We look at the whole pie, not just one or two slices. And that's profound, because as you're working through those 12 categories, there's this stacking effect that happens, where one breakthrough leads to another, leads to another. So that's the first thing.
And you also, when you do that comprehensive approach, you can find the contradictions that you wouldn't have necessarily seen before. Like in one category, it might be undermining another category. And those beliefs can really come to the surface, those disempowering beliefs come to the surface
Right.
when you're doing that deep discovery work.
Yes, you'll discover amazing things about yourself in this process. The second thing that makes Lifebook different is how personal it is to you. This program is an empty system that you fill up with your own stuff. In other words, the valuable information that comes from the Lifebook course comes from you, not at you, like every other personal development program. This isn't a guru telling you what you should believe or what you should think or what you should want. This is you thinking for yourself inside of an empty system. So every Lifebook is different because every person is different. The course is absolutely personalized to you. The third thing that makes Lifebook different is that there is a tangible deliverable at the end of this program. Most seminars you go to, most courses you take, you leave with maybe a pad full of notes and some good intentions. With Lifebook, you leave with something tangible. You've just created basically a 100-page book about the person you want to become and the life you want to live, and you've got it, and you can hold it in your hands, and it is amazing.
It's your game plan, it's your business plan,
That's
like Vishen was
exactly
saying.
right.
It's your life vision plan.
And then you never stop modifying it. This is a dynamic process. You'll work on it over time, but you've got your first draft, and it's an incredible thing to have.
Amazing.
And then lastly, we have a tracking and measurement system, and this is so incredibly important to make sure that you're making measurable progress to your life vision every week, every month, and every year. Because what happens when you create a plan is, you know that it's going to go sideways as soon as you put it out into the world. Things don't always go according to plan, so you need a way to measure to make sure you're getting closer and not farther away from your goal. So we have our assessment, we have our habit tracker, we have our goal tracker, we have tools that you can use to measure that you're making good progress. And like I said earlier, if you do those things, if you get clear on your life vision, if you align your goals and habits with that life vision, and if you wrap measurement and accountability around it, you cannot fail to make meaningful progress toward the vision that you created for your life.
And of course, what I like to say is that Western goal setting is fundamentally flawed because you're not setting goals that come from your soul. You're setting
That's
goals
right.
to fit into a predetermined definition of success from society. Lifebook breaks that mold. So I don't believe in traditional Western goal setting, but I frickin' believe in Lifebook. Now, as we wrap up this masterclass, I want to share one final quote. And this is actually a quote that is shared in the Lifebook program. Do not let your fire go out, sparked by irreplaceable spark. Do not let the hero in your soul perish in lonely frustration for the life you deserved but have never been able to reach. The world you've dreamt of can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours. Ayn Rand. I really want to emphasize how close you are right now to making so many of the greatest, most beautiful dreams that you've ever had in life come true. You are unlocking that genie from the bottle, and you should be so proud of yourself for completing this masterclass and for committing to Lifebook. We'll see you when we start the class. Jon, Missy, any closing words?
Thank you so much, Vishen.
Yeah,
Well, it's been a
thank you,
real
Vishen.
pleasure to spend this time with you as always. I'd just like to say that we're so incredibly grateful.
We are incredibly grateful to Mind Valley and to you for helping us bring this to the world. I would just say to you, if you're considering doing this, just do it. You can't lose. Do it for yourself and see what happens.
What happened to Missy and I is because we were able to create an extraordinary life for ourselves, we are now able to help others do that. And that could be your path too. So join us. It's a beautiful thing that we're doing. Our mission is 1 million people with a Lifebook because we think that that's going to change the world, and we'd love to have you by our side.
Right on.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for tuning in.